Okay, everyone. Hello, good morning, and welcome to week 2 of the C1 course. The first week, we looked at a level check and we talked about study technique. Last week, we began with Unit 1, looking at people and their lives. This week, we will continue with the same topic. We are talking about people and their lives, but we will continue to look at the content. So let's get started with the lesson for week 2. You need to remember we have classes every Friday at 11 till 12 or 7 until 8. You can come to the class that you like. However, the class repeats. It is the same class. Sorry, 1 second, let me just admit. Ines. It is the same class. Therefore, you don't want to come to both classes. If you cannot attend, you can watch the recording on the platform. In Unit 1, it will say week 1 class, and you can watch it. So let's talk today about what you should be doing to learn English. You need to understand that to learn effectively, you need to vary your practice slightly. Now, Marta, what do I mean by vary your practice slightly? What do you think it means? Not too sure. Okay. Vary, what is it talking about? It's talking about difference, isn't it? To vary different things. So to vary your practice literally means to do things in a different way. Imagine I am training to run a marathon. I am not going to run 42 kilometers every day. I do not train for a marathon. I need to run and train in different ways. I need to do sprints, I need to do series, as we say in Spanish here. I need to lift weights, go to the gym, run 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers, 20 kilometers to train in different ways. When we are learning English, we must also do this. So how can we vary our practice slightly? Imagine with speaking. What can I do to vary practice?
Okay.
I can think in English. Hello?
Yes, I can think English alone. For example, I can practice with my student in class, or I can try to speak with my mother or with my friends in English too, no?
You are very lucky because your mother is English, so you can practice with her whenever you like. Also, because you live in Marbella, it is easy to find people to speak to.
Yes.
Clara, you will also find this. In Madrid, I'm sure you will be able to find like mesas de idiomas, as they say, like meetings to speak in English. In Albacete, it is more complicated because I think there are maybe 20 English people in the whole city. So it is complicated, of course. How else can we practice? Record your voice, listen. You can do shadowing, watch a video and say, repeat. There are many ways to practice. You must practice in different ways. Different vocabulary, different phrases, different tenses. You can have conversations, give monologues, describe images. There are many ways to practice. The same thing will happen maybe, 1 second, with listening. Clara, how can you listen in different ways?
Listen music or watch a film or video clips or karaoke. I don't know.
Yeah, there are many ways, you're right. You can watch films or series in English with English subtitles, listen to music.
podcast.
Podcasts, exactly, and listen for the gist, the main idea. What is the audio about? You can do exams. There are many ways to listen. You need to do it in different ways. The same thing with reading. Read different types of texts. Read blogs, read books, magazines, read online, read on Twitter or X or whatever you call it. Read in different ways, and then you will improve. With your vocabulary, you need a process, but you should also do different types of exercises. Learn vocabulary, but test if you understand it in different ways. The same with grammar. Remember what I've said with vocabulary and grammar. This is related to speaking. You should always speak when you learn vocabulary and grammar. Say everything out loud. Okay, let's continue then. So what should you be doing exactly? To learn vocabulary, the best technique is the 10+ rule. Sometimes we call it the 5+ rule. Learn a word, associate it with a synonym, create a phrase, then you say it out loud. Like I said, you need a process. An example would be hang out with, means spend time with. So a phrase, I enjoy hanging out with my friends. The phrase does not need to be complicated. Simply, you need to remember it because it's high frequency. Unwind means relax. So I love unwinding on the weekends. So we need to make sure that we know what it means and how to use it in context. The best thing to do is to learn a language by verbalizing it. Say everything out loud, review, recycle, repeat, recall. Learn a word, the next day, review. After 1 week, review. You must review everything. So what we're going to do is test a little bit of our vocabulary and see how we are doing. This is vocabulary taken from Unit 1. We are going to test our understanding. So, hello Ines, can you hear us?
Yes, no.
Okay, fantastic. I'm glad you're here. Okay, and we'll speak soon. So, Clara, it's your turn. Can you read the phrase with the word in the gap?
I struggle to keep in with my friends. I struggle in.
The fixed phrase meaning to maintain a relationship, to maintain communication in a way. Which phrase could we use? There are 2 words. In Spanish, sería mantener el contacto. So, of course, we could use a similar word in English. To keep in contact with someone.
Okay.
We're going to communication, or keep in touch with someone. The most common phrase for C1 is keep in touch. Mantener el contacto, yeah? You can say keep in touch or stay in touch with. Okay? So, touch is the best answer. Next, please, Marta, can you read?
I often suffer with anxiety in social situations.
Okay, it is a word pattern, so we will use a preposition. With, I would accept it, but it is not the best answer. In some ways, we suffer with things, but we normally say suffer from. Now, we rarely say, I often have anxiety. We will say the phrase, suffer from anxiety. Suffer from depression, for example. To suffer from anxiety in special situations. Notice how I say the word, anxiety.
Anxiety.
In class, yesterday with Ines, we spoke about this. It's a long I sound. Anxiety. So anxiety.
Anxiety.
Fantastic.
Like
society. Yeah. Idea. It's a long I. if you need a review of vowel sounds, I can send you a simple B1 level document which will explain long vowel sounds, okay? Right, Jorge, it's your turn. Number 3.
There are many issues that can come between because of this issue.
Okay, now come between is like to interponer, to cause problems. Now,
Back.
you come between somebody and somebody else. To come back is to return. Now, we're looking at a phrase that means to surgir, okay, surgir problemas. Now, the best phrasal verb for this is to come up. There are many issues that can come up because of this issue. I could also say come about. To come about is like surgir un problema. We cannot use the word surge. It doesn't make sense, okay? So, to come up. So, there are many problems that can appear because of this problem. An issue is a problem, it's the same thing. So,
Mark, if we say come out,
come out, yes, it's not bad. Come out is to be revealed, to reveal them, meaning the problem is there, but you didn't know. The problem has come out, but you realize there is a problem. So yes, Ines, you could say come out, but come up is the best answer. Come up or come about. As we know, phrasal verbs are flexible, so sometimes there are multiple answers. Ines, number 4.
many factors can come.
We saw this in class. Now, basically, this means many factors can become apparent. They can like exist under these circumstances. The phrase is to come into play. If you think about it in Spanish, entrar en juego is a very similar phrase. So many factors can come into play, fixed phrase, come into play under these circumstances. Can begin, can happen, can occur, okay?
Okay.
So come into play. Next one, please, Marta. Oh, sorry, Marta, no? Clara.
I make friends in easy, to be honest.
In ease is
Ease.
noun. Ease is the noun from easy. Noun, ease, facilidad. Adjective, easy. Adverb, easily. Now, it is a prepositional phrase. The phrase means easily. You can say easily or with ease. Con facilidad. It's very similar in Spanish. So I make friends with
Yes.
ease.
Yes.
I find it easy. I make friends easily. So with ease. Be careful because when you change the preposition, the meaning can change. With ease, con facilidad. At ease means to be relaxed. I am at ease. I am relaxed. I am not nervous. I am at ease. But I make friends with ease. Okay? Marta, number 6.
I can sometimes come.
And it's phrasal verbs, so they can be difficult. Yeah. Now this means seem.
Come out. Come out? No.
It's not bad because it is a preposition. I sometimes come as shy, meaning I seem shy. The phrase is to come across as. Now it means with as. Come across as means to seem. A veces parezco muy tímido. I sometimes come across as shy. I sometimes seem shy. So seem, B2, C1, come across as. I could say, Ines, you come across as very friendly. Meaning, I think you seem very friendly. Okay. Next one, please, Jorge.
My mood depends on how I feel at the time.
Good. This is a very high frequency word pattern. On. Never use of. Please, never depend of. Doesn't matter. So my mood depends on how I feel at the time. So you can say it depends on what you want to do. It depends on the time. You always need to use on, never of. It's a simple one, but we need to know it. It's a common mistake. And finally, last but not least, Inés.
I rather beat up the bus when I meet someone new.
Okay, there is a small error here. I understand why you've made a mistake, because it's not bust, it is bush. Bush. With H. It is an idiom.
Beat down.
To beat?
To beat down the bus.
Okay, it's not a bad guess because it is a preposition. Now, the phrase is to beat around the bush. To beat around the bush literally means andar por las ramas, en plan, no ir al grano. So, beat around the bush, B-U-S-H, is to not get to the point. When you do not get to the point, you beat around the bush. For example, you should never beat around the bush in a meeting at work. It is a bad idea to beat around the bush in a job interview. Beat around the bush, andar por las ramas, en plan no ir al grano. We use it as an expression. Okay, just so you know, we will not always do gaps fill exercises. This is a good way to test your vocabulary, but we will look at other exercises. For example, we will use starter sentences. For example, finish my sentence. Rephrasing, which we have next week, which we will look at how to say things in different ways. Okay? Good. So, to be...
Una cosa, one question, Mark. Beat around the bus is no, entonces o no?
Yeah, beat around the bush. Quita la T y pones la H.
Bush. Ah, vale, que está mal, ¿no?
Porque la T está mal escrita. Beat around the bush, andar por las ramas, to beat around the bush.
Pero beat es como golpear, ¿no?
Beat es como golpear.
Vale, y significa...
Por los arbustos y tal. Se supone que la expresión viene de Australia, porque ellos llaman the bush, en plan cuando están ahí fuera en el campo y tal, y es muy difícil ir directo a donde quieres ir. Porque hay muchas cosas en medio, tienen que ir como quitando cosas de en medio, quitando árboles, quitando vegetación y tal, para poder pasar, se supone.
Vale.
Good, so we have that. Now, let's say to beat around the bush, as I said. What we're going to do is review some things we've seen this week. We have been looking at mixed tenses. Last class, I told you, you need to develop your answers to questions using mixed tenses. It is not enough to use a very simple answer in C1 level, okay? For example, if I say, how often do you normally meet your friends? I say, I tend to meet my
Una pregunta, Marc, otra pregunta. Lo de los tiempos, ¿dónde está en esto? Porque yo solo veo lo de vocabulario.
Okay, you have different options. In the curriculum.
¿In the?
Curriculum, el primer tema que pone C1 curriculum.
Sí.
Tienes el despliegue, tienes una parte de gramática. Ahí tienes un guía, un PDF para descargar. Y tiene tiempos verbales.
Ah, vale, porque yo eso no lo he visto, vale. Yo he visto como lo de la parte de vocabulario, vale. O sea, que ahí tengo gramática también, digamos,
claro.
¿no?
En cada tema también tienes una explicación de la gramática que es muy parecido a lo que tienes en el PDF y tienes ejercicios.
Vale, porque eso no lo he visto yo.
Si más material ¿vale? Adicional para ir repasando. Por ejemplo, dice, mira, Marc, es que me está costando mucho el presente perfecto continuo, tal, quiero más ejercicios. Yo tengo un montón de cosas, tengo un banco de material que no he incluido en cursos, porque si no, eso sería un sinfín.
Vale.
¿Queréis revisar? Me lo decís.
Vale, perfecto, muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
Good. So, we do not want to give a simple answer. You always need to extend using mixed tenses. For example, if I ask you, how often do you normally meet friends? I could say, I tend to meet friends often because I am young and I like going out. However, I never used to go out because I was studying all the time. So you can mix present, however, past. What you could also do is answer in the past, however, present. You basically need to use different tenses to extend your answer. To do this, you need to understand that for habits, you can talk in the present, past, or the future. For the present, we can answer with, for example, I tend to meet friends often. This means suelo quedar con mis amigos a menudo. Lo que no puedes decir es used to en el presente. Todo el mundo lo traduce y dice solía, used to, pasado. Presente, used to. Doesn't make sense. I tend to meet friends often. This means I usually meet friends often. I normally meet friends often. Okay? Another way of saying it is be used to ing. I am used to meeting friends often. The meaning is estoy acostumbrado a quedar con mis amigos a menudo. So be used to is an adjective. Used, accustomed. I am accustomed to meeting friends often. Meeting with a gerund because it's preposition, verb. For the past, we could use solía hacerlo. I used to meet friends more often than now. In the negative, I didn't use to meet friends very often. Didn't use without the D. Didn't use, U-S-E. I could also use be used to in the past. I was used to meeting friends every day in the past. I could also use acostumbrarse a in the past. I got used to having lots of friends as a teenager. Get used to is acostumbrarse a, because siempre digo lo mismo, get más adjetivo lo hace reflexivo. Por ejemplo, get bored. Get, conseguir, bored, aburrido. Quiere decir aburrirse. Yo me aburro, I get bored. Tired, cansado. Yo me canso, I get tired. Por lo cual, used, acostumbrado, accustomed. I get used, me acostumbro, to having lots of friends. Okay? Tell me next.
The difference between I was used to meeting friends every day and I got used to meeting.
Okay, it's very similar. It is very similar. However, get used to is like the change. As it reflects it, it's like acostumbrarse a algo. Antes no estaba acostumbrado, y luego sí. So, yo me acostumbré a, o yo estaba acostumbrado a. It is very similar in that context. Get used to just means there is a change. I was not used to it, then I became used to it. Okay? We can also use get used to in the future. I could get used to hanging out with friends during the week. Me podría acostumbrar a pasar tiempo con mis amigos durante la semana. What is the difference? Could get used to means now I am not used to it. I never see my friends during the week. However, in the future, I could do it. I could ask you, could you get used to living alone? So, yeah, at the moment, I live with my wife or my husband or my brother. But in the future, I could live alone. Could you get used to speaking English every day? Yes, I could. I speak English, so I could speak English every day. At the moment, I do not speak English every day, but in the future, I could do it. Okay? The key is to use mixed tenses when you give an extended answer, and you should use connectors to give reasons. Try to use phrases like because, as, since. I think it is a very good idea. Or we could use because of, due to, owing to, on account of. These all mean debido a. We say because of noun, because of ing. For example, I could not get used to hanging out with friends every day because of the time. I don't have time to see my friends every day. I could not get used to hanging out with my friends during the week because of not having enough time. Debido al hecho que no tengo suficiente tiempo. You could use the phrase because of this, por eso, due to that, debido a eso. Okay? To give a reason for something. So, we are going to practice. Are there any questions about this? Now, cuando hacemos gramática nueva e incluimos cosas, una cosa que siempre digo es, estamos aportando material nuevo. Lo que no quiero es que utilicéis exclusivamente esto. Esto es una herramienta que tenemos. Una cosa más. Recordamos todo el resto que tenemos y sumamos esto. Convencionarlo una vez, tenemos bastante. No es en plan que tienes que utilizarlo todo el tiempo. Porque a veces que digo, estamos con la pasiva, hacemos esta pregunta, ¿sí? Pero ¿cómo contesto esto con la pasiva? Yo no siempre utilizas la pasiva. Pero hay que intentar utilizarlo una vez. Okay? So, we're going to look at some questions. They are very general questions. I would like you to answer with mixed tenses. Past, present, present, future, past, future, and a connector. Because of, due to, owing to, on account of. Okay, so Ines, question number 1. Do you make new friends with ease?
In my view, yes, as I'm a very patient person, and I know how to listen to others. However, I didn't used to get on with people so easily, as I was very shy when I was little. But it's a thing that now it's getting better for me. So now I would say that yes.
Okay, fantastic, good. Hello, Juan Carlos. I will speak to you in one moment. We are with an exercise, okay? Así que en un momento hablo contigo y te explico un poquito, ¿vale? Right. Thank you, Inés. So, we have that mixed tense. You just need to talk about the past, the present, and adapt. Thank you. Jorge, it's your turn. Do you ever struggle to get on with your classmates?
Well, I am under the impression that I don't have any problems to get on with my coworkers or with my classmates because I usually be kind with all the people and I can speak with about a lot of things. So if they need help, I usually be able to resolve problems or to speak or kind with others, and I don't have any problem with that.
Okay, thank you, fantastic. So of course we could talk in the present, but what you could also do is review and compare to the past. However, when I was a child, I was very shy and I was not used to speaking to my friends. Because of this, I had problems making friends, for example. And we compare. Struggle plus infinitive. Costar, hacer algo, yeah? Struggle to get on with. Costar, llevarse bien con alguien. It means you find it difficult. You have trouble doing something. Thank you. It's your turn, please, Marta.
What factors comes into play when you make new friends? Well, normally I don't have too many problems because I am very open-minded, so I don't have many problems. So for me, it's very easy to make new friends.
Good. And you could justify it because I am a very social person, or because of being a very sociable person, I find it easy to make good friends.
Exactly. So for me,
Because, full phrase, because of ing is a way of answering. Okay, Clara, it's your turn. Now we have the expression well written now. Do you ever beat around the bush when you meet new people?
Normally, a ver, un momento, un segundo.
Organize your ideas, yeah.
Normally, I don't beat around the bush when I meet new people, because I think the good the best thing that you have to do is being a direct person, and it's not necessary talking about other things that don't that doesn't
Are
no sé,
not necessary, that are not important, that are not crucial at that time. Exactly. Now, to beat around the bush, to andar por las ramas, obviously, it is a new expression. We need to get used to it. So, it basically means, are you a very direct person, or are you an indirect person? So, do you speak in an indirect way when you meet new people? It's a way of expressing this.
Depend of the people, depend if you are comfortable with these people.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree. Sometimes you immediately hit it off with someone. That means to immediately have a good feeling with them. You can say en español, tenemos buen feeling desde el primer momento, yeah? To hit it off with someone. If you hit it off with someone, then you can be more direct. However, sometimes at work, maybe, you need to beat around the bush a little bit more. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Ines, it's your turn. Number 5.
Do you feel awkward when you talk to strangers? So it depends on the stranger. If, for instance, they transmit me good vibes, I would say that no, as I would get along very good. But if maybe like they transmit me bad vibes or something, I would get a bit nervous, and it would be hard for me to deal with it.
Good. Now, I like your phrase with transmit good vibes. You could also use the phrasal verb come across as. If they come across as a type of person I would get along with, if they come across as a vibrant person. Now, question number 5 has my favorite word in English. My favorite word in English is the word awkward. Have you heard this word?
In the vocabulary. No?
Yeah, it is a very difficult word to translate. In English, it means many different words. It means uncomfortable, difficult, hard to manage, hard to handle. Now, you can describe a situation as awkward. For example, last night I went to a restaurant with my boyfriend, but in the table next to us was my ex-boyfriend.
So, Mark, it could be like embarrassing.
Yes, it can be embarrassing, can be difficult, can be uncomfortable. I could say, I need to carry this box to my house, but it is really awkward. It is really big and it is difficult to carry. Awkward. We use the phrase a lot. How awkward. Like, wow, nueva situación. Yeah? How awkward. Now we use awkward a lot. Okay, Jorge, it's your turn.
What the question is? Please?
Okay,
Sorry?
question number 6. Would you describe yourself as a social butterfly?
I either say that it's very difficult to describe me as a social butterfly because I'm not very sure. As well, I am kind, I am shy, so it's a, a little difficult. However, if I drink one of 2 beers, I'm a social butterfly. So it depends on the moment.
Yeah, so it does depend on your mood, and it also depends on your level of inebriation, of intoxication. My wife is like this. She's very shy, but if she drinks a glass of wine, she is very, very social. So to be a social butterfly is to be very sociable. It's an expression. I am a social butterfly. I am very sociable. Okay, thank you very much, Jorge. Okay, Marta, it's your turn, number 7.
You have a large group of friends or just a few? I have a large group of friends. I have the friends from the gym, my work friends, the friends for the university, the friends from the paddle, the friends from when I was young. So I have many friends.
You have a really active social life, yeah. I find it difficult and different it is because, of course, I have changed location a lot. I've moved around a lot. So I have a lot of friends, but not many close friends. You know what I mean? So yeah, okay. Yeah, no, that's a good thing. If it's part of your personality, fantastic. Okay, Clara, what are the upsides of being sociable and talkative?
This permit you knowing other cultures, other types of jobs, or maybe having a new friends, having new friends. However, sometimes it's important stay alone too. With yourself and do and make depends of the things by your side.
Okay, thank you, good. Now, the upsides are the advantages. Now, you spoke about many advantages, but you also used contrast and said, however, it is also a good idea to spend time by yourself. Try to avoid using stay. Stay is more like permanecerse en un sitio or alojarse en un hotel. Yeah, to stay in a hotel. We'd say to spend time by yourself. Spend time alone. Spend time on your own. Learn the synonyms. alone, by yourself, by reflexive pronoun, on your own. On, possessive adjective, my, your, his, her, own, propio, yeah? And then we learn there are different ways to say alone. Good. So there are many advantages, but it depends on the person. Fantastic. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on very quickly. The next class, we're going to be looking at situations, and we're going to discuss situations to practice interactions. I would like you to try and practice this type of interaction during this week. What you need to do is talk about a situation with a partner, and you need to practice agreeing in different ways. Do not always use I agree with you. We have synonyms. I see your point. We see eye to eye. You took the words out of my mouth. En español, me has quitado la palabra en la boca. It's very similar. That's exactly what I was going to say. I couldn't agree more. For sure. And you have hit the nail on the head. Has dado en el clavo. So we have expressions that mean I agree with you. You could also say, of course, that's right, exactly. And these are ways to say I agree. So you must try to agree in different ways. Do you have any doubts about these phrases? No? We learn them and use them instead of I agree with you. We are going to speak about this situation next class, okay? I would like us to review, and I want us to look at how to maintain a conversation about this. In the situation, it says, now I would like you to talk about something together for about 2 minutes. Here are some ideas for you to talk about and a question for you to discuss. First, you have some time to look at the task. So what is the task? You are going to talk about life events. You say, how much would these events change a person's life? To what extent do you think these things would change a person's life? 1, moving out of the family home, flying the nest, independizarse in Spanish we say move out. Having a kid, having a child, becoming a parent, starting a new job, going to university, making a new friend. The idea is you speak about all of the options and say, would this thing change your life or not? After you speak about all 5, you have to try to agree which of these events would change your life the most. Okay? So I would like us, please, to review in this way. I would like us to speak and review. Practice this week with someone if you can, or try to think of questions, phrases you would use, and we will have interactions next class. 2 of you will speak together for 2 minutes about the situation. I will stop you and ask for a conclusion. Okay? You have this, you can watch it on the video to review, and we will know. Okay. After, what we will do is look at discussion questions. I will ask you more questions about the same topic. They are related, but not exactly the same. It is to continue the conversation. So next class, we will look at interaction. Summary, what have we learned today? We've been talking about friendships, relationships with lots of different vocabulary. We have looked at common ways to talk about habits at an advanced level. In the present, I usually do something. I tend to do something. I am used to doing something. In the past, I used to do something. I tended to do something. I was used to doing something. For the future, I could get used to doing something. We need to speak about habits in past, present, future in different ways. We also looked at ways to agree at an advanced level. Which ones can you remember? Clara, can you remember any?
Yes, I have the same point of view.
I have the same point of view. Yeah, I see your point. Exactly. Oh, Marta, yeah, you've given one. Now it's Marta's turn. So Marta, can you think of one?
What are the common ways to talk about habits?
No. We're talking about agreeing. Agreeing. Synonym of I agree with you. Do you remember any of them?
A synonym of agree?
Remember, we saw them here.
Okay. See, to see on eyes.
We see
With
eye to eye. So
yeah,
we see eye to eye on the topic. Exactly. And we review. Good. Jorge, can you remember any?
You took the words out of my mouth.
Fantastic. I love this phrase. You took the words out of my mouth. Me has quitado la palabra de la boca. It's a really good phrase. And Ines, can you think of any?
You have hit the nail on my head.
On the head. Fantastic. You have hit the nail on the head. Has dado en el clavo. Boom. You have hit the nail on the head. Now, we can use these to say we agree. Remember, on Instagram and YouTube, we have videos about this. There are ones about agreeing, lots of synonyms. Disagreeing, lots of synonyms. Make sure you follow the channels and you watch them and review the videos. Si no tenéis tiempo para otra cosa, porque vais en avión a Suiza o algo así, pues ¿qué vais a hacer? Pues veo algunos vídeos de esto, ¿vale? Now, what we're going to do is, we're going to finish there. Remember, our courses are on this Intercambium Idioms Academy, and additional information, additional exercises in PDF at intercambidiomosonline.com. If you want more exercises, send me a WhatsApp to this number and I will send you exercises. Okay? We have lots of things to do. Just ask me. Okay? Are there any questions before we begin? Before we finish?
I have a question, Mark.
Yeah.
For the quiz, how can we see the correct answer?
You need to ask me. And I will
Okay.
say. Because
Okay.
I thought it was a bad idea to give you the answers immediately. Because what happens? You will do it one time, you will copy the answers, and then you cannot test yourself again.
Okay.
If you want to see the answers, send me a WhatsApp. I will send you a screenshot and you can review. Okay? For
Okay.
example, you have done it 3 times and you have 9 from 10. And you think, which one is wrong? I don't know. Ask me and I'll say. Okay?
Okay.
Fantastic. Any more questions? Anyone? No? Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. See you next
Thank
time.
you.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.